Welcome to The Old Man and the Three with JJ Reddick and Tommy Alter, brought to you by 342 Productions. This is episode 177, Tyrese Maxey. Tommy, we have returned to Rec Philly.
We're back.
Where we hosted the Matisse Thybulle episode a little over 2 years ago.
Famously on your retirement announcement day.
Yes, we recorded. I think it was the day after I retired. But the morning we recorded it the morning that the video came out.
The video came out, and you were wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, I was crying.
Slightly different circumstances, I would say.
Did not cry with Tyrese. He nearly cried, but I did not cry today. We talk about this a little bit with Tyrese. Gotten to hang out with him a couple times this summer. Just has an incredible reputation and an incredible outlook on life. A joy, really, to be around. Phenomenal for someone who is getting ready to turn 23 years old. He's got a great life perspective, I think.
Yeah, really nice kid. Great player, obviously. We get into all things, on the court, Sixers stuff, but he talks about it. He's been through a lot in his 3 years, and he has a smile on his face literally all the time, including in this conversation.
Yeah, his sense of normalcy is drama and dysfunction. And I don't mean just in reference to the 76ers. I mean just in terms of circumstances, right? His college basketball season got canceled, didn't have a normal pre-draft process. His rookie year was my last year, which we had COVID protocols, no fans, all that stuff. This guy's been through a lot in his career and certainly played in high-pressure, high-stakes playoff games as well. I don't think there's anything in Tyrese's career we didn't cover, actually. And he was very candid with us. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this conversation. I should say, because I'm not sure when we're going to release this later this week, we are recording this on Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday the 10th. We do discuss the James Harden trade, the potential for a James Harden trade, all of those things. But as of right now, there has been no movement on that. So if something does happen to come out prior to us releasing this episode, mea culpa. We did our best. So for today's DraftKings segment, I do think we should discuss the 76ers because given the changing landscape of the Eastern Conference, where this team was last year, there's a lot of intrigue still about this team.
Yeah, so you just called their game Sunday night in Boston. Tyrese went off. What are your thoughts with them as this team is currently constructed? We obviously can't see the future in terms of trades. As currently constructed right now, where do you see them in this East landscape?
Well, you have to assume at this point, given the intel that we have, that James Harden will eventually be moved. And if he's not moved by opening night, I'm not sure that James Harden is going to play in an NBA regular season game for the Philadelphia 76ers. So when you say as currently constructed, I'm going on the notion that it's without James Harden. I can't look at it any other way. And it's interesting, like when the DraftKings Sportsbook odds opened, they opened at plus 1,100 to be NBA champions. They're now plus 1,800. They're obviously going to get a return back for James Harden whenever they make that trade. You look across the Eastern Conference specifically, Boston, of course, just traded for Drew. Milwaukee just traded for Dame. Cleveland, they essentially addressed their needs in free agency, which we have discussed with Max Strus and George Niang. New York's going to be tough. They bring back basically the same crew as last year, plus DiVincenzo. There's probably some teams we were discussing earlier on the drive down here. There's probably some teams that surprise. There are probably some teams that regress. The Heat are still intriguing because they still have Jimmy Butler. They have a healthy Tyler Hero. They have a Bam, but they did lose Gabe Vincent. They lost Max Strus.
It's still the Heat, though.
It's still the Heat.
We learned this. We all learned our lesson last year. It's still the Heat.
Like we talk
doesn't matter who they roll out there. It's still the Heat.
We talk about all the time with like playoff Jimmy. What about playoff Spo? I think that's a factor in all this. The one person that we should obviously mention, of course, besides Tyrese is Joel Embiid. And Joel won the MVP last year. And I'm paraphrasing the quote here. But essentially, the other day he said, as long as I'm on the team, we have a chance to win. And I think that largely holds true. Without putting a number on it, like Joel, cornered me into a box the time we had him on the podcast with naming the top three players. Joel is one of the best players in the NBA. He's one of the best players in the world. He won an MVP, won first team All-NBA, He's great. And he's a player that doesn't have a championship yet. And there's 6 guys currently that have been the best player on a championship team. Could he be the 7th this year? Could Tatum be the 7th this year? I don't even know. Could Dame potentially be the 7th this year? I don't know how that dynamic with Dame and Giannis work, but Joel is there. He's there.
One Joel thing I'm interested in, we get into a lot of this with Tyrese on the offensive end of the court, but with Nick Nurse, with the hiring of Nick Nurse, and you just got a chance to talk with him on Sunday. He's a great defensive coach, one of the best defensive coaches in the league. With an anchor like Joel and with the other pieces they have on this roster right now defensively, where do you sort of see the upside of them, assuming James is not there? Where do you see this team sort of changing strategically with Nurse and basically the same roster?
I said this on First Take when Doc was let go, and we were talking about potential coaching candidates. And I said, look, it doesn't matter who the next coach is. If I'm the next coach of whoever it is, if I'm the next coach of the 76ers, my number one priority is maximizing Maxey, is figuring out how good can this guy be. And we talk about some deficiencies. We talk about some improvements with Tyrese. I think the one thing that really intrigues me is him with the ball in his hands more. And can he develop as a playmaker? Tobias, I think, seems poised for a revival year, if you will, because last year Doc asked him to sacrifice. He stood around a lot, played primarily as a spot-up shooter and as a cutter, didn't have the ball in his hands. I think the creativity, the ball movement, player movement, and a lot of the players in training camp have talked about this. That could be a difference with Nick Nurse. And I asked Nick Nurse about the defense, and one of the things on Sunday before the game, one of the things he said is we have to monitor Joel's workload. So what we're asking of him in the regular season in terms of being higher up in pick and roll, we may have to do that a little bit just to prepare for the playoffs, but you also can't do that for 82 games, right? So I do think there's an element of mixing up some defensive coverage, but again, Joel in a drop coverage, you've got a top 5 defense, right? Off the jump, right? That has been proven throughout his career. One thing on Joel that I find really interesting, reigning MVP, he doesn't seem to be very popular with the voters with the bettors over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Zion Williamson and Victor Wembanyama both have more bets to win MVP than reigning MVP Joel Embiid, and he's got, as of right now, just 0.4% of the handle, which seems like a low number.
Seems like a good bet to me.
At plus 650. You go back to a lot of the narrative around MVP, and last year was I think a little bit of an anomaly because of Jokic having already won 2 in a row. Of course, everything that happened in March, Denver kind of tailing off. Joel having this historic run, and all of a sudden you have 3 guys who more than deserved it. I think a lot of in traditional years, a lot of the MVP has to do with expectations, and Philly comes into this year because of the James Harden situation with lower expectations nationally. I'm not talking about the Philly fans, and I'm certainly not talking about the guys on the team or Nick Nurse or anything like that. I'm talking about nationally. The expectations about this team, given the trades that Boston and Milwaukee make, they're lower. So if all of a sudden Joel goes out and has another dominant season where he leads the league in scoring, averages a double-double, anchors the top 5 defense, and they win 54 games, okay, he's back in the running.
Well, also, don't you think when we're talking about expectations, this situation, and it's been talked about a ton over the last month or so since it's been going on, it's a here we go again. I can't believe the same shit is happening to this team again with a different person. So if he's able to buck all of that and put up a season like this, and they're able to have, whatever, 54, 58 wins, whatever it may be, don't you think just dealing with that in itself is a extenuating circumstance in his favor?
Yeah, but I also think Joel, he touched on this after he won. He's like, he recognizes the MVP was important to him, right? But ultimately now his legacy, whatever you want to talk about, his own career, how he compartmentalizes everything, will be based on whether or not he wins a championship. And as his friend, I don't have a vested interest in any team. I certainly root for my friends. I hope he does win one someday. I really do. He deserves it. I hope he wins one. This has been DraftKings Sportsbook segment. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code JJ to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code JJ. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana. 21 and over, varies by age jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Let's get to our conversation with Philadelphia 76er, Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese, did you actually take any classes at Kentucky?
From our first all the way up to January, I went to every single class. We played against Anthony Edwards in Georgia. I had 19 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, 4 steals, 2 blocks. The next day was Wednesday. I was like, I'm not going to class. I'm not going to class, man. I'm going to the league next year, man. I'm sorry, I can't go to class. I don't go to practice, but I'm not going to class, man.
Oh, this whole thing about student athletes, it's just such bullshit, to be honest with you. Because the reality is all these, you guys, you one and done guys, like why you're going to go to the NBA, you're going to make a lot of money. Why would you go to class second semester? I would like to do like just a blind anonymous poll of all the one and done guys at Kentucky and see how many guys actually went to class after the first semester.
Yes, and then it got to the point where it was getting cold outside, and I'm from the South, so I don't do snow. So I remember one day it's snowing outside. I came downstairs in a tank and some pajama pants. It was like, what are you doing? Like, we got class at 9. I said, nah, class canceled, bro. It's snowing outside. I ain't going to class. It's snowing. What do you mean?
I think making it to January is impressive.
You have to qualify for the second semester to play the second semester.
Well, listen, my mom was on me about grades and all that. You know what I'm saying? My mom was big on that. So, I had a feeling that I'd only be there 1 year. So I kind of wanted to experience the lecture halls and all that type of stuff and walk into class on campus. But after that, I was like, man, all right, that's enough, man. I'll figure out how to get my work done. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I got what I need to get done. And after that, I'm going to the gym. I got to get some work in.
I love the fact that you say you had a feeling you'd go to the league and then the exact day when you're like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to the league.
Yeah, that was it. I'm telling you, man. Anthony Edwards was #1 pick. He was the best player. You know what I'm saying? He was the best player in our draft. I'm like, wait, I just had almost a triple-double on national TV? Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to the league.
Tyrese, I have a small bone to pick with you. It's not a big deal. It really isn't, but I just want to address this off the top. I called your game Sunday in Boston, and as per usual, I'm on the court to do the intro to the game, and we're kind of in between going live. So I'm kind of just standing there doing nothing. And, I'm like, Drew's coming over to say hi.
Right.
KP's coming over to say hi. PJ, Pat Bev, everybody that I know is coming over to say hi. And in previous years, right, I'd be cool. I'd be like, Tyrese doesn't want to say hi to me. That's fine. But we hung out at the white party.
We did.
We hung out at Joel's wedding. And you knew you were coming on the podcast 2 days later.
I did.
And you seemed very, very reluctant to say hello.
I was in like frame of like, I was right behind Tobias. I seen Tobias go, and I didn't want it to be like the awkward run. So we're like, oh, wait, should I go say what's up or should I? So I kind of turned. I told him, it's funny, I told my uncle about it the other day. I was like, I was in the middle of like, dang, should I say what's up to JJ or should I just like, it was a weird eye contact. And I seen you, I was like, hey, go say what's up to my man JJ. He could do it, man.
I have a hypothetical for this for you though, because JJ pregame had a very specific routine. It was about as intense as you can get before a game. It was like, don't talk to him unless something is very important is happening, no matter if you know somebody courtside. If you were in that situation and you were going on someone's pod, because when you were playing for the most part, there weren't like pods like there are now, would you have gone and said what up, or would you just been like, fuck that, like I'm getting ready for the game?
Whose pod was I going? M. Night Shyamalan? No, I was like, no, I would be locked in. I would say hello to people. But if like I made eye contact with Reggie Miller, I go say hello. If I go say hi to Hubie Brown, you know?
You're right. I do apologize. It wasn't like a personal
I know
thing.
it wasn't personal.
It was just like oh shoot,
we're past the point, Tyrese.
You're
like,
right. You're right.
Past the point.
I do apologize. It won't happen again.
Tyrese Maxey, by the way, hosts a podcast called Maxey on the Mic. I was going through some episodes earlier, and I noticed that in the description of the show, it says a weekly podcast, and you've done about 8 episodes in 5 or 6 months. So you may need to update how are you enjoying doing a pod?
You know what? I actually like it. I ain't gonna lie, I really like it. It's it's something that kind of calms me down, especially like after games. Yeah, but our heart is really great. They're being really great to me. I mean, I've done a live pod with Nick Nurse. I forgot about that. I did a live pod with Nick Nurse. The guests on there that I've had and that want to be on there, they've been great. I do got to do better at it. I promised myself this year, Thursday is the day for the season, and as soon as we start, we play on Thursday. So I'm like, okay, I got to change it to Friday for that week. But you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get every Thursday, every Thursday or Friday, whatever day that I'm open, I'm gonna try to hit it.
I always ask, why do you want to do a podcast? What's the motivation behind that?
For me, it was like, okay, I don't really get to tell like stories of like from my own perspective. Like everything comes out from the media and everything. So this person says this about me. This person says that about me. So I'm like, well, how about why don't I just talk about what I want to talk about and how I feel? And then at the moment, it was when I was like not starting. So it was like, I got to talk a lot about how like mental health. I got to talk about how I got to fight through all these difficulties. And, for me, I just wanted the world to know that at the end of the day, I'm human. We're human as well. Like we go out there and we try to perform for everybody every single night, but hell shit, we mess up too. We have bad days too. So
Tommy, I'm not super wired into Philadelphia sports talk radio at the moment, but it seems like Tyrese is fair. You're fairly unimpeachable to me, at least now. You haven't reached the stage of your career where like you have true haters. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah, I don't really listen that much, but like
when it gets no. Every player says that, but
no, for sure.
It'll find you one way or another.
Yes, it does.
Your dad's going to send you a link to something. Your boy's going to text you.
That's it for me.
Hey, yo, so-and-so said this about you. I get it.
My homies, I talk to them every day about everything. But as soon as something's posted with my name on it, it's a group chat. We have Twitter group chat. We have text message group chat, Instagram group chat. And one of those chats, I'm getting a message like, oh, they said this about you. I'm like, I don't really care. But then now I'm sitting there thinking about like, dang, maybe I do care about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. It doesn't matter to me anymore. It does matter. I just use it as motivation, all the negative stuff. And then the positive stuff, I don't try to take to your head and still go out there and work. You know what I mean?
What's your favorite thing about being a professional athlete in the city of Philadelphia?
The fans. I mean, they're amazing, honestly. It's like, for me, they get mad at me. The security and all them get mad at me because I like to walk around. I like to engage with the fans, especially like years past, because they're just like, they're genuine. They work. I'll say it all the time. We have something in common. I had to work my behind off to get to where I am today. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had to work their tails off to get into the arena to watch us play. So it's like, that's connection that we have, me and myself and the fans, because shoot, I didn't come from like my dad didn't play in the league. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knew who my dad was outside of Dallas, Texas. I had to go out there and make my name and work extremely hard to be who I am today. And I just feel like I just go out there and try to work for them and try to be successful so that they spend their hard-earned money to come to the games and stuff like that.
I said on the broadcast the other day, Philadelphia is the greatest sports town in America, and I mean that. And I do think you could probably add in New York and Boston. There's something about the fans up in the Northeast. Don't take this for granted, man.
For sure.
I mean, every young player thinks they're going to play in one place, and I hope you do. I hope you spend your whole career in Philly. But don't take the fans here for granted because they're special, man.
They are. second to none, you know. And I've had great fan bases. I played at University of Kentucky, the real blue blood, and other than yours. But like, we'll have to talk about that. But no, like I played at UK, and they had great fans too. But like, it's just different here. Like, I've never seen a fans town that it's all like every sport. You know what I'm saying? Like hockey, baseball. They like every single every single team, every single organization. They know every single player. If you show up somewhere, they're gonna know you. They're gonna want an autograph. Like, it's amazing. I'm from Dallas, Texas. It doesn't happen like that. And we have the Rangers, we have the Cowboys, but like, you know, the Mavericks guys, they don't show as much love, you know, in Dallas. And I love Dallas, Texas. So it's a lot different. It's crazy up here.
You brought up Nick Nurse, and the live podcast with him. Spent some time with him on Sunday, which he had some things to say about you, which we'll get into in a bit. But just overall, the start of training camp, there seems to be no normalcy in your career. I was actually going through this. So your only college season got cut short because of COVID. You did not have a normal pre-draft process, shortened rookie year. And then we had all those COVID protocols, played half the season with no fans. Then Ben decides to sit out for most of the season. You guys trade for Harden. Last year you get hurt. You don't make it out of the second round. Doc gets fired. This offseason you get a new coach. Harden requests a trade. How do you maintain everyone I talk to, oh, Tyrese is just the same guy every day. He's just happy. He's personable, all this stuff. How do you sort of maintain that level-headedness amidst what seems like drama after drama?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that you even say that. Like, I'm just trying to reminisce now. Like, I forgot all about college and COVID. I didn't know. Like, we didn't get to play in a tournament. We didn't get.
Well, you admitted in January you had checked out.
Oh,
so.
I checked out of the class, but I ain't check out on the court. Calvin let me do that. That's impossible. But man, it's just like, I don't know. I'm a happy person. I'm blessed, and I grew up with both my grandmothers in the house, so it's like they never let me take like a day for granted. You know what I'm saying? Like every single day, they wanted me to smile. They wanted me to be happy. They knew that, you know, it was another day that God blessed you with opportunity. So it's like, for me, I get to go play basketball every single day. I love hooping. You know what I mean? Like, this is my job. Like, I don't understand. Like, people ask me, why you go to the gym so early? Like, man, this is my job. This is what I get paid to do, is get up and work out. Like, it's all I got to do. Work out, film study, do those things like that. So I'm happy no matter what, man. It's as long as I get to lace my shoes up and get out there and play, I'm good, man. But if I'm not playing, then I'll get upset. But as long as I'm lacing them up, no matter, you know, who we got on the team, who we got on the court, I want to go out there and have fun and try to compete.
Everyone has said this, and it's been like, you know, reported in the media. But everyone that I've talked to, like around the team and on the team, has said like the training camp vibes were actually really awesome, despite the uncertainty and sort of the James Harden situation. Why do you think that is? Like, I've been on enough teams to know something like that can sort of derail the vibes.
Right. I mean, first of all, I'm gonna give a shout out to JH because he didn't make it weird at all. You know, he came in and he was very like, it's not what I was expecting. I'm just gonna be honest, not what I was expecting. He was very like receptive. He worked hard. He did all the drills. He was talking to even like young guys that he didn't know. Think about James Harden, MVP, scoring champ, 2-time assist leader. Like, he's sitting there talking to guys like Ricky Council, like, hey, when you're in help, you should do this. Like, and I'm like, it's not what I was picturing. You know what I'm saying? And then, so I can give a shout out to him first.
This is not, hold on a second. No, hold on. I want to let you finish your thought, but I want to just point out, and I love Ben, but of course it wasn't what you were picturing because of what happened when Ben showed up for training camp practice.
I love Ben too. It's like one of my guys.
Ben's my guy, but of course it wasn't what you were picturing.
Listen, it's sad to say this, but like, this is normal for me. I don't even want to, like, I'm not trying to downplay it, but it's sad that this is a normal situation for us. Like, I've been through this before, so I'm not even, like, most guys that we have on our team, like the key guy, not the key guys, but the guys that's been in rotation, the Joels, the Tobias, like Danny Green who came back, myself, we've been through this situation. So it's like we're kind of just telling like the young guys, like, look, we're here to practice. This is our job. We're here to focus. And then Nick Nurse and his staff make it easy as well. Like they've made it fun. They've made it competitive. Guys aren't really focused on that situation. And like I said, JH, he's been a professional about the situation. So it's been great, man. Honestly, like we really worked. Guys are really buying into Nick Nurse's system. And we're ready to see what it looks like, against other teams.
When you talk about the uncertainty, you've had that on the court as well, just with your role. How do you, where you are in your career, we're going to get into the numbers and everything, but how do you sort of plan how you're going to approach the season from a basketball standpoint when you don't know what your role is going to be yet?
So I'll break it down to you like this. Imagine this. So I come in, like you said, COVID rookie year, right? I come into a team that has Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Danny Green. I have no clue what my role is going to be on that team. Like I have no clue from day one. So day one, we play, and I played on the red team. You know how they have white, blue, then they have, alternate penny jersey team. And I'm on that team. And, me as a confident player, I'm like, no, I don't want to be on this team. Like I gotta go show them that I'm better than that. I mess with Joel about this all the time. We beat the starters in like a pick and roll drill. So the next day I come back on blue team. So now I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta play different. You know what I mean? I'm on a whole different team. So I don't have no idea what my role is that year. I come back the next year, we have the Ben situation. They're like, okay, look, we're gonna do everything as if Ben is here. So like, Coach Doc had me like passing and going to the dunker. And I'm like, okay, so I'm pretending like I'm Ben. Like I had that mindset. Then we realized Ben wasn't playing. So then Doc's like, okay, now you gotta go play yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so that happened. Then we bring in James. So now I've been playing on the ball for 3, 4, 5 months or however long it is until the trading deadline. Now James comes in, okay, scratch everything that you were just doing. Now you're gonna play this way. Okay, cool. I gotta figure that out. I gotta play that way. Boom. So actually my third year was kind of the most like I knew what I was gonna do because JH was there. So okay, look, I'm gonna be off the ball when JH is in, on the ball when he's not in. You know what I'm saying? So that was it. So then this year, I'm like, all right, I start working out and I'm like, okay, my thing was self-creation because, Boston wanted me to, they tried to force me left, try to take away my three, take away my layups and stuff. So I was working, okay, middies and getting other guys open. Creating handle, middies, getting other guys open. Then I see that James doesn't want to play, he wants to get traded. So I'm like, okay, boom. I start thinking immediately, okay, look, I'm probably going to be on the ball more. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be playing pick and roll with Joe. So I had like my homies and then like Drew, Tim, I had guys like that, and we're working on pocket pass to Joel because I know he's going to need it. He's going to want it. Playing two-man game with Joel, playing, reading defenses, always trying to figure out where, okay, look, if they tag Joel, they take away the roll, I'm hitting the skip pass. If they too far over, I'm hitting the flow pass, advance pass. So it's like, man, I have so much desire to be the best possible version of myself every time I step on the court, no matter what the situation is. I got to figure it out. I like to win. I like to be able to be on the court. I like to perform well for my teammates and my organization. So it is what it is. It's life.
I want to follow up on a few things you said there. Before I do that, it just hit me, man. It just hit me. Going back 3 years, I did a live stream for Overtime, and it was sponsored by KFC.
Oh, I was on it.
And I interviewed you for that. And yet you still were reluctant on Sunday.
Listen,
this is crazy, man.
You're not looking at it from my point of view, okay? You have Tobias Harris, who you are really good friends with, playing a team with, right? You know what I'm saying?
He's my guy.
He's in front of me, and he's going to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. I'm like next in line for my warm-up shot. And like you said, you got to really strict. You only get a certain amount of shots in warm-ups, okay?
I don't blame you at all. You're right.
I'm not blaming you.
No,
I
only got a certain amount of shots. So I'm like, okay. Hey, I got to get this one. I do like this one special thing that I wanted to do. And I'm like, JJ's right there.
You're playing it cool.
You know what I'm saying?
No. Hold on a second. It's not that I took this personal, Tyrese. It was just as a fan, because I am a fan of yours. I'm like, you know what? I think after this summer, after hanging with Tyrese, like I feel like we've moved past the awkward.
You're right.
The awkward point.
You're right. It was really, if being honest, I'm blaming Tobias. If he just wasn't in front of me, it's 6'9", so if he just get out the way sometimes, then I could have said what's up. You know what I'm saying? But
I got you.
It's my fault. It won't happen again.
Serious. OM3 fans, the season is coming up and I am psyched, but you don't have to wait for the season to get some hoops action in your life thanks to NBA 2K Mobile. Season 6 of NBA 2K Mobile is here with a new look, features, and gear. Take the action with you wherever you go.
Join forces with your friends and cruise mode and dominate the court as a team. Build your own custom dream team with your favorite NBA players, then optimize your lineup for success.
Tommy, I called my first preseason game last weekend, and while I was in the airport, I played a few tournaments on NBA 2K Mobile. I don't want to brag, but I didn't lose a game. I might be unstoppable. I have Tatum and Fox as my backcourt. Yes, I have a big lineup. It's just all buckets for me. If you're a hoop sicko like me, you're going to love this game because there's just so much to explore. Dive into tourney mode, events, and regular updates for non-stop action. And unlock and collect tons of player cards to enhance your team's performance. So download NBA 2K Mobile free on the App Store or Google Play and use my promo code OldManJJ to receive a Larry Bird Jade tier card. It's time to meet your new best friend, Lumen Skin, and its charcoal face wash. Lumen is a skincare line crafted especially for men who want to look and feel their best. Whether you're a seasoned skincare pro or a total newbie, Lumen Skin has got you covered.
Lumen's charcoal face wash purifying is designed for men of all skin types. It lathers to a creamy foam and gently removes excess oil and dirt in order to rebalance the skin. It is a daily detox for your face.
Tommy, I used the charcoal face wash for the first time last week. I actually saw this on an Instagram ad, and it's such a game changer. And good news, Lumen will let listeners of this podcast try this product for free. Yes, you heard that right. You can try Lumen's charcoal face wash for free. Head over to lumenskin.com/the3. That's spelled out THETHREE, and get your free trial of Lumen's charcoal face wash and their other amazing products now. Say goodbye to irritated, oily skin and say hello to a new, refreshed you. Don't wait any longer. Your skin will thank you. Again, that's LUMIN skin.com/the3. We'll go back to the serious stuff. All right. So first of all, the playmaking part of this, which is something that we actually touched on the podcast yesterday with Nikias Duncan and Steve Jones. Nick Nurse mentioned to me pregame that he and his staff had shown you a bunch of tape of playing out a pick and roll, pocket passes, skip passes. My question around that is, because I think you've improved as a playmaker. Like, we can all acknowledge that. My question around that, though, is mindset. Because I think at times, and maybe I'm off on this, and you can correct me if I am. I think at times it seemed like when you were on the floor with both Joel and James, there was a little bit of deferment. And then when you got a play called for you, when you got a chance to go, there was that mindset to just be a scorer. And there wasn't that balance that I think primary ball handlers have the luxury of having.
Right,
like Darius, your boy Darius came on the podcast last year, and he was like, no, I have a whole game plan because I know I'm going to have the ball. So my first quarter, I'm trying to get some guys going. Towards the end of the first quarter, I might look for myself a little bit. Midway through the second, I'm going to try to get myself going. Third quarter, same thing. Try to get my guys going. Fourth quarter, I'm just making plays. I get super aggressive, right? And like I told him, I'm like, I never had that luxury. It was like, I just tried to make the right play, but I had to always have that like scorer's mentality. Like, I got to hunt shots. And so now potentially, like, the ball's back in your hands. And so I think some of that playmaking kind of just happens naturally because you don't feel the pressure to like go score.
You know what? It's funny because this is a different situation than 2 years ago when it was my second year in the league. Because my second year, I'm a confident player, very confident because I work hard, but like, it's my first time playing with Joe. It's my first time playing with Tobias, Danny Green. Okay, these are all vets. And I'm 20, just turned 21. And it's like, they're looking at me to call plays, to do stuff like that. So I'm thinking, okay, I wouldn't even be aggressive to score at all. I'm like, okay, I got to get Joe the ball. I got to get Seth the ball. I got to run this for Tobias, or he's going to start yelling at me. Like, I remember it was one play, I'm trying to get so out the way that I messed up and went the wrong direction and ran into Tobias my second year, and he just cut you. What the? Get him. I'm like, yo, I didn't know I was supposed to, like, It's game 2. It's game 2 playing with you. I've been playing with the second unit all last year. Like, chill. But like this year, I'm so much more like decisive and confident. Like even when Joel's on the court, like when we go through stuff like that, or whoever is on the court, I'm just so like my confidence level is so much higher, and I'm like more mature. I'm only 22. I'm about to turn 23, but I feel like I've been through so much as far as like the last 4 years of what we've gone through as an organization, as a team, which is a good thing, that I had to grow up quick. And now I have like this voice. Like I'm not scared to speak up. I'm not scared to try to put guys in the right position and then still be aggressive for myself. And me being aggressive for myself, now the defense is gonna collapse. It makes those reads a lot easier, if that makes sense. Like, okay, I came off, hit a pull-up 3, boom. Now the big is like, okay, I got to get up. Okay, now that the big is up, my big can get behind the tag man's roll. Okay, boom, I'm hitting the lift, easy. That's like now it's me like making sure that I'm making these reads easier for myself, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I think the more reps you get, and not only that, just the more volume in a condensed period of time. It's not just reps over years; it's reps over days, weeks, right? And the more usage you get, the time you have with the ball in your hands, I think it just becomes second nature. The other part about the normal third year, which you didn't really bring up, was you got hurt. You were out for an extended period of time. And then you were a starter. You came back. You were off the bench. And then you eventually moved back into the starting lineup. And you bring up the podcast earlier, talking about your mental health.
Right.
That period of time where you're not a starter, playing well, but I can get into the shooting splits from last year. Your sort of level of comfort last year, kind of oscillating to start the season, coming back from injury, not moving back. Like, where were you with all of that?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I forgot about that. That's how crazy this 4 years has been. I forgot that I had to do that. But so think about it like this. Like I said, coming in year 3, I knew exactly what my role was because if we had James, I knew what the situation was. So I got off to a blazing start. I'm shooting. Like I know when I'm gonna get my shots. I know when I gotta be like the playmaker. I know exactly what's going on. I know the system. I know Doc. I know Sam. I know everybody. Like I feel comfortable. And it's like I feel like I'm doing a really good job. I'm killing. Like I was averaging like 23 points a game. I was doing like, you know what I'm saying? I was trying my best to help us win. Then I get hurt. So once I get hurt, now I'm coming back. You know that you normally start off the bench. So I come off the bench. So then it's a game where Joel decides he's not playing. You know, it's one of those, like it's the back-to-back or something. And they're like, okay, Tyrese, we want to start you tonight. So I'm thinking like, when Sam says like, we're going to start you tonight, I'm like, what do you mean tonight? Like, I'm a starter. I've been starting like the last 2 years. Like, what do you mean you're going to start me tonight? So then I start, play well, boom. Joel sits out another game, play well again, 2 games in a row. So then, Coach Doc has a conversation with me. After that, everybody's healthy now. He has a conversation with me. And he's like, and our defensive ratings have been good. You know what I'm saying? While you was out or whatever. I'm like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, what do you need me to do? So my thing was, I'm like, all right, you got to let me know what you want me to do. Like, whatever's best for the team, I'll try that. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want me to come off the bench, you got to tell me. Like, I don't want it to be weird. I want to win at the end of the day. So we tried that. And then I felt like it was games, like 4 or 5 games in a row where I, changed the game off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Help us win again. Granted, I remember the Clippers game, we were losing. I come in, I had like 22 points, in the big game versus, I don't know, Kawhi and them. It's it's a regular season game, but it's a big game, ESPN game, whatever, and we win. So then I'm like thinking like, dang, like, why am I sacrificing? Should I get my spot back? I'm doing everything y'all asked me to do. Like, shouldn't I be rewarded with my spot back? What did I do wrong? You know what I'm saying? Wasn't playing bad. You know what I'm saying? So that was hard. It was hard. I'm not gonna lie and sit here and say it was easy. It was difficult for me.
I tweeted this out last year. I think it was in March. So obviously you guys played some more games, but the point remains. The most used lineup, which was 37 games last year, was D'Anthony in the starting lineup. That lineup had a defensive rating of 112. The second most used lineup in 30 games was you instead of D'Anthony, and that lineup had a 108.5 defensive rating, which is interesting. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you're a better defender than D'Anthony.
No,
I love D'Anthony.
no,
I'm just saying it's interesting how a perception of a player, and then you look and you're like, oh, wait a minute, that team actually defends better with that player in the lineup. It's interesting. I'm just
look. my thing was I didn't want any conflict. And like you said, I love D'Anthony too. So like if I'm be honest with you, we like closest, like me, I'm closer to Joe, but like me and Melt became like real close over the past 2 years. It's like just the other day I'm calling him, we play video games together. He lives like 10 minutes away from me. We hang out, we eat. Like, so we're both like, okay, just let us know what y'all want us to do. Cause like we don't want it to be weird for us. It's funny we get a shoot around and we're like, are you starting? Am I starting? I'm like, I don't know yet. But here, you know what? Come in, get me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's cool, man.
This is the NBA, folks.
Yeah,
This
it's just
is
how
the
it goes.
NBA.
It's just how it goes. And it's like, I mean, but for me, the reason why I was a little upset, my mental was a little off for a couple games. I remember we played Boston, the Knicks, and I think San Antonio in this 3-game stretch. And it's the less I've ever taught, like in shoot around and stuff in my career. I can admit that. You know what I'm saying? I was vulnerably upset. I would talk to my uncle, talk to my mom and dad. I was upset because I just felt like, man, I worked so hard for my spot. I worked so hard for this opportunity and I was playing so well for it to be kind of like taken away because of my foot. It's like, dang, this hurt. It hurt me. But I just wanted to keep pushing for my team. I wanted to keep getting better.
The last thing in the original answer you gave about 10 minutes ago, I had 3 follow-ups. This is the 3rd follow-up. You talked about the best version of yourself and being the best version of yourself. And I know you work hard because I've talked to people and they have confirmed that. When you think about the best version of yourself in 2 years, the best version of yourself in 5 years, what does that look like? And the reason I asked that, and again, you're getting ready to turn 23. I'm not the person that would ever put you in a box.
Right.
But there are people that like to compare players. Comparison is the thief of joy. I'm not trying to steal your joy here. The box would be the Lou Williams, the Jordan Poole, the Tyler Hero, and those guys, by the way, those 2 of them, they're still figuring out who they are as players. So for you, what does the best version look like down the road?
You know, I guess like you said, we're still figuring that out. Like so I'm still 20, about to turn 23 in a month. And for me, I just want to be able to say like, bro, like I don't have any what ifs about my game. Like I was able to check off all these boxes. Like, okay, people say I couldn't shoot coming in. Now I shoot a high percentage from 3. Okay, boom. My next year was like, oh, he can't shoot off the bounce off pick and roll. Okay, now I can do that. Oh, he can't play make. Okay, now I can make these certain reads that I can. He can't defend. Last year in the playoffs, they couldn't. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the situation where it was like, oh, we gotta take you off the court because you're not defending well. You know what I'm saying? Every single criticism that I take and everything, I take it to heart because I want to play. I want to be out there on the court with my guys. I want to be, in the mix of trying to help us win. And then individually, it's like, man, I just want to keep getting better every day. Like I just want to. I'm not gonna sit here and bring up goals and stuff like that or accolades, but like I just want to be someone who is at the end of the day, 1, I'm comfortable who I was as a player myself, and 2, I want people to say like, man, he was way better than what we gave him credit for. He was way better than what we thought he would be. You know what I'm saying? Like Lou Will is a great player, wonderful. Like he one of the people that I watch because I like this little fadeaway stuff. Like,
Lou Will was a motherfucker. Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
Long career too.
Probably, in my opinion, he could have started on a lot of teams. You know what I'm saying? But for what y'all needed on the Clippers or what, wherever he was
at.
I
didn't play with Lou. He came in after me. But true.
But whatever what the Clippers needed.
Had to guard his ass, unfortunately.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. He was my matchup in the second round my rookie year. And I was like, okay, well, why did, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do I get him from going left if he wants to go left every play?
How do you stop from fouling him?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Every time he drives left. Yeah.
Isn't that pump? I'm like, bro, I'm 19 years old. I'm thinking he's going to shoot it. What do you mean? But like, yeah, I just want to be the best version of myself. Like, I just want to get better every single day. I want to be able to, I want to knock on the door. Honestly, I want to knock on the door of those guys that are, in the All-Star game and those different things like that. So we'll see where that takes me.
To your point about looking back, January 2021, 80 of your teammates out with COVID. This is your first start. You scored 39 points. Do you feel like you've now just been, maybe because of that, maybe because of how that year went in a lot of different ways, you've almost been hardened mentally, no pun intended, about you've been hardened mentally with all of the different shit that you've had thrown at you, and it's like your first start was like that, and so now it's like everything is kind of like downhill from there in a weird way.
I don't even know how to explain it. Like, and when I say this, I'm not BS. I'm telling you a fact. So when I realized everybody wasn't playing, at this time it's just me and my uncle living in my apartment in Philly. And I tell him like the situation was going on. And I was like, I'm going to score 40 tonight. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm going to score 40 tonight. And he's probably looking at me like, you're in the NBA, you're like, there's probably no chance you're scoring 40 in the real game. But I was dead serious, like, I'm gonna score 40 tonight. And I went out there and like when I started playing and I was like feeling in the rhythm, I was like, I may really score 40. And we was like actually competing. The game was close. But it was just like, and to your point, how crazy it is, I went out there, I had the 39 or whatever. We ended up losing. That sucks. But like 2 days later, my name was in a trade conversation with Ben Simmons for James Harden. I'm freaking out at the crib. I'm like calling my mom, like, what happens now? You know what I'm saying? It went on for a while, like for a little while. And I was like, dude, is this what and then Danny Green was messing with me. He's like, you just had 40, dude, like efficient 40. You're going to be in some trade talks. And it's like every trade since then, my name has been in it. I haven't been in like recently, but like for like 3 years, like every single trade that came up for Dame or James or anybody, it was me. I was in there. So I was always messing with my uncle, like, oh man, here we go again. Like, but that's all love. But that, to your point, that was a crazy night. It was a crazy night, and I was blessed for that opportunity. And I was glad I got to, show the world that I was capable of doing something cool like that.
You're the young guy on a rookie deal, man. You're the guy with upside. You're the guy that's going to be in a trade room. Give it like 5 years, and one of two things is going to happen. You're never going to be in any trade rumors, or you're going to be demanding a trade. Those are the two scenarios. Hey, I've seen it.
I've seen it.
We were talking. Our cameras just died, by the way. Our cameras just died. And we were talking randomly about a bunch of stuff while we waited for these to hop back up. And I was telling the story of when we traded for Tobias.
Yeah.
And I sat out that game that night. I sat out. I had like a stomach bug or something. And I tried to warm up, and I got through like 3 shots, and I was like, I can't do this. So I left the arena in the first quarter, and we ended up losing the game, but it was a really good game. And Landry Shamet had a big game that night, and that was my guy. And so I go back to my apartment in Philly. I wake up at like 4:24 in the morning, and I just kind of glance at my phone to see what time it is, and it's like I got every notification in the world, every Woj bomb, Shams, whatever, every text message from every single person I know. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I'm like, oh, fuck, Landry's in the deal. And I'm like, I wonder if it's because he had a big game tonight.
Hey, listen, for me, I was nervous. Like, I was like, listen, I just thought I was going out there playing. And then when it happened, Danny Green was like, no, this is not how it works. This is business now. Like, you showed something that like people may be interested in. I'm like, oh, wow, this is crazy. But it's for all fun times, it's business. At the end of the day, this is, like you said, it's business.
You seem like you're embracing that. I like it. You talked about this is your job. Why would you not work as hard as possible? You kind of have a level-headedness about the business aspect of it. It doesn't mean it probably, whether it's your rookie extension or, free agency down, like you're going to take things personal. But I think just going into this whole journey, this long journey you're about to go on with the level-headedness you have, it's going to serve you well, man. It's going to serve you well. You brought up the shooting in a second, or a couple seconds ago, and I wanted to ask you about this because you were at 29%. That's from the college line, by the way. 29% in college. Too close. 30% from 3 your rookie year, up to just under 43% your second year, over 43% last year on 6.2 attempts. How did you become such a great shooter?
Well,
did you change anything?
No, I didn't change anything. I'm just going to be honest. When I was I guess it's high school, so no one cares about it. When I was in high school, I shot good. I shot really good from 3. You know what I'm saying? In high school and in AAU, even in like when I played with USA, U18 and stuff like that, I shot good from 3. So my freshman year at Kentucky, my only year at Kentucky, like it was hard for me. I didn't know. Like it was a different situation for me. I wasn't on the ball. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have the ball in my hands all the time. I didn't know where my shots were coming. So like I shot a lot of late clock shots, a lot of bad shots at Kentucky. That's why I feel like my percentage was 29%. And then the next year, I just didn't. Like I played a little bit here, didn't play a little bit here.
The rhythm aspect.
Yeah,
of it.
I just didn't have it. I didn't like. I was scared too. Like I knew if I missed, oh no, I wasn't. I was coming out. That's just how it works, though. You know what I'm saying? That's the business aspect of it. Like you don't get I didn't get that many opportunities as a rookie. Then when I settled in, like my second year, like I felt comfortable. Like, okay, look, if I missed a shot, I'm probably gonna still get another shot. You know what I'm saying? So my thing was, I didn't change anything mechanically. I just got so many more reps up as far as where I'm gonna shoot at. Okay, I'm playing with like the best post player in the league, Joel Embiid. He gets triple teamed every night. Okay, he's gonna sometimes because it's 6 hands he has to throw through. They're gonna be high, they're gonna be low, they're gonna be like this. I practice that
You practice the bad pass
every single day.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do that with Joel.
Yeah.
You got to practice the bad
I have
pass.
to. You know, love you, Joe. But sometimes, you know, he has 6. Like he has 6 to hand. Like
I know.
So he has to throw high, has to throw low. Sometimes he's throwing at my feet. But I practice that. I practice pulling over for Joe. Like I practice all those shots because I knew. And then Ben was on our team then, so like I practiced him coming down. You know how he fires it to you. Like he throws the ball hard. So I had to adapt to all that.
Different angles with Ben too.
Yeah.
So like with Ben, I'm glad you brought this up because I don't know how much you follow, but like we did this whole segment with Cam Johnson on shooting, and we talked about like it was more on footwork and like squaring in the air and stuff. But there's so many different aspects to shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Ben thing, I think it's important because like I think most guys practice bad passes.
Yeah, right.
But most shooting drills, where's the pass coming from? It's coming from the 3-point line, right? Almost like a swing.
Right.
But how many times does Ben throw you that ball?
Never.
Never. He's in the paint.
Yeah.
He's driving and putting pressure on the rim, drawing the second defender, then kicking.
Yep.
And oftentimes, to your point, like it's a bullet.
It's coming fast.
It's a bullet. So you got to practice that too.
And then sometimes Ben, he was like, he still does it now. I seen him do it last night in the game. He gets in there and he jumps and he's looking one way and he just rockets it. And it's like, oh, you got to be like, you know what I'm saying? And you got to, because defense, they're closing out, doing all type of stuff. So it's like I had to practice that stuff. And then once I started practicing that stuff and was able to apply it to the game, then I was able to, you know, shoot better. Now, also, before you start, Danny Green told me I couldn't shoot my rookie year. He told me I couldn't shoot. He said I wouldn't. He said, hey. I asked him. I said, look, he said, Ben said, if you played on the Bulls and you had like the green light, he said, could you average 16 points? I said, of course. Danny Green said, no chance. I said, what'd you say? I said, why not? He said, you can't shoot. I said, okay, bet.
You know, while we're on the topic of Danny Green, I'm going to look this up for a second. So Danny Green's rookie year with Cleveland, he shot 27% from 3. Just want to point that out, Danny.
Thanks. I'm going to tell. I can't wait till I see you tomorrow.
Typical coming from a UNC guy. You know what I find fascinating about kind of tying in some things from this conversation and going back to the aspect of shooting, while it seems like a simple subject, is infinitely more and more complicated the more you move up levels in basketball. And earlier in the conversation, I think you said it twice because I tend to listen. You said, I'm a very confident player. And you then just said my rookie year, at times I was scared to shoot because I knew there was consequences. We talked about rhythm. And so like, it's interesting because you can simultaneously step on a basketball court at this level and be very confident, but completely out of rhythm to the point where you're passing up shots. And there's no quantification for rhythm, but you feel it as a player.
Yeah.
You feel it. And I don't know if it's like a level of freedom. There's probably a mental toughness component to this. There's a flow, like the guys you play with, how the defense is playing with you, but like you feel the rhythm of shooting and you feel when you're not in rhythm. And and oftentimes, like, you know, to your point about your rookie year, like it's shorter stints. It's 4 to 5 minute runs as opposed to 8 to 9 minute runs. So you know that one shot, it's got to go.
It has to go, because if it don't go, and I would never forget. It was a game in Utah, and we didn't have the big fella in my rookie year. And Ben, he was killing. He had like 40 something in his game. So we needed all the shooters around him. So, but it's my turn to go in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm going in, and he gets down here, boom, boom. He kicks it out to me. I missed. It's my first shot. I missed a 3. And then Sam was like, "Come on, you guys bring some in. You can't miss them all." And I'm like, "Dang, this is my first shot. I just got the game. Jesus." So then the next play, I get it. They rush out at me. I pump fake. I go to the hole, and like I don't know what I did. Maybe I turned it over. He said, "Oh, now you scared to shoot." I'm like, "I am, yeah," because you just told me if I don't sprinkle, I ain't playing no more. And then I didn't play like the rest of the next half. But I'm like, man, so like for me, then it's little stuff like that. So like for the rest of the year, every time I stepped on the court, like when I was preparing or when I had to work out, first thing I did was catch and shoot a three. As soon as I get cold, don't stretch, nothing. Just get right in there, go to the corner, catch, shoot three. Because I was stepping out I was doing all type of stuff because I didn't want to shoot and miss and then not be able to play no more.
How much do you think the 29% in college affected draft night? Because I think both of us are trying to figure out how the fuck you fell.
Draft night was a sensitive day for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was Rich Paul's my agent. I love Rich Paul. Like, he's my dog now. But I'm like draft night. I'm like, listen here, what is going? Like, I need some explanation. Why am I dropping so low? Like, because you have pride. At the end of the day, you have pride. I mean, I'm so much better than such and such, whatever. But I mean, that may have had something to do with it. Honestly, in my opinion, what I thought had to do with it is, I feel like during the COVID time, a lot of organizations and gyms, they had so much time on their hand. I feel like they overthought some situations. Maybe, I don't know, but that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But it bothered me for a while. It bothered, like, dropping in the draft, falling in the draft bothered me for a while. But it's all good now because I'm here in Philly. It was on a winning team. Like, this is what I like. You know what I'm saying? This I love to win. So this opportunity was really good for me, I think.
We've talked to a few guys from the 2020 draft class, and it's pretty unprecedented because of, number one, as you mentioned, the amount of time between March and when the draft was, which I think was in November.
Yep.
But also there wasn't like workouts. There wasn't one-on-one time. There wasn't a lot of meeting. Did you even take a workout?
So I did one. I did one workout throughout the entire process, and it was like, one draft workout, and it was with the Pelicans. If I can say that, I don't know, but it's with the Pelicans. So in the workout, I'm killing the workout. I'm making all the shots, doing all the stuff. It's a 1-on-0 workout. That was, probably the bad part about it, but it's a 1-on-0 workout. But think about it. I'm a 19-year-old kid. The pressure's on. Like, this is your life that you're talking about. And for all the people that, the question is, oh, can he shoot? He shot 29%. I know it's only working out, but I made like 35 threes in a row. Like, I'm talking about, they're all in that straight. I'm banging in threes. I'm like, yeah, I'm killing this for a girl. And I'm like, you know what? They could, and got to talk a little bit. I'm like, I'm going to the Pelicans. Draft night comes up. I'm sitting there. I'm like, 13 pick. It definitely wasn't me. I'm like, oh my God. I kept with the, like, you know what? I'm be honest, like when I feel like when Jalen Smith went 10, because the Suns got Chris Paul that year. So they were like, we're taking the guard. But they didn't need the guard anymore because they was able to get Chris Paul. So then when they took Jalen Smith, Tyrese Halliburton, we all just do. And we're all like, oh, snap. You know what I'm saying? And then even the Knicks, they took Obi. So because at the whole time, like, you looking at all the mock drafts and all the people talking, Jay Billis, all those people saying like, okay, the Knicks are going to get a guard. They didn't. They surprise. Sometimes they draft, they surprise people. So Obi Toppin went 8, and then Jalen Smith went 10. So all of us guard Tyrese Halliburton, Cole Anthony, Kyle Lewis, me. I'm like, okay. So now I'm just like, okay, look, Tyrese got to go because he went. You know what I'm saying? He went. Then I remember it was a time where Rich was like, hey, you may go to Orlando at 15. I'm like, oh, yeah, I like Orlando. He's like, okay, you're not going there. I'm like, at this time, I'm sitting with my family. Thank God we're not in the green room. But I'm sitting with my family at my house. We had this cool setup. I think the NBA sent cameras and stuff. But at this time, I'm just on my phone. Like, I'm not talking. And like, I'm getting like so mad. Y'all always see me smile. Everybody always sees me smile. I'm not smiling. Like, I can feel the tears of like me being frustrated about to come down my eyes. And I just remember my uncle coming to the room because he had got the phone with Rich. He's like, Rich said, remember, fit over pick. And I'm like, I don't give a damn. Fit over pick right now. I'm trying to get on the.
I just want to hear my name called.
Yeah, when you fit over, I don't care about none of that. And then so he's like, okay, Miami's 50-50. It's you with pressure half the room. I'm like, oh, I get to go to Miami. Like, my favorite player growing up was D Wade. I wore number 3 all my life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, I may go to Miami. I'm very excited about that. Miami don't take me either. I'm like, oh my God. And then
who'd Miami take it?
They took Precious Achiuwa. Because they had just the year before they took Tyler Hero. So it was like, okay, we don't need another scoring guard. We may need something else. So it's like, all right, cool. So then okay, I forgot to mention this. I had Zoom meetings. I had Zoom meetings with like 26 teams out of having 30 teams that we had in the league. Philly was not one of them. So I never thought I would be going to Philly. So then the 21 pick comes up, and Rich is like, this is you. I'm like, I did all those Zoom meetings, but to go to a team I didn't do, like, what? What are you talking about? And then, like, it was cool at the time because, Ben was with Clutch or whatever, and I got to see him in L.A. T. Ferg was there. What else? I mean, Doc Rivers, like, you grew up watching. I grew up watching the Celtics. I grew up watching y'all. I mean, so I knew who Coach Doc Rivers was. I knew who Sam Cassell was, being on that Celtics team that won a championship. So I'm just happy to be here, honestly. Like, it was cool. Like, I have won, like, at every stage. Like, I've been on winning teams every stage of my life. I don't know how I would have responded, like, at the time, being a young kid, responded to going to a different team. So I'm blessed, man. I appreciate the opportunity. It's been great. But the draft process was not fun for me.
I feel like the majority of players, and I don't know if that's 51% or like 89%, but the majority of players, I feel like, hold on to draft night for the rest of their careers.
Listen.
I really do.
Listen.
Because it's such a seminal moment in our lives. And then it's like, it could just be one team or one pick that you're like, fuck that for the rest of my career.
Listen, I'll tell you this. I'm not going to say any names, but it's like, it's this one team that I play against, and it's like every time I'm like, listen, before we go out here, I'm telling the team, listen, tonight, I'm going to cook tonight. I don't know what's going to happen in the game, but tonight I refuse to. It bothers me every single time, and it's like my uncle. I remember Spencer Rivers was my player development for we had a new staff this year, but he's in Detroit doing good things. He was like, by year 3, like the second half of year 3, he's like, bro, you gotta let it go. He's like, you gotta let it go. I said, I can't. I literally can't let it go. It's engraved in me. Like every single time I play against this certain team, I'm like, nah. It's like I have to cook them. We have to beat them. Like this is how the game has to go. But it's like, and now I'm trying to, like, because I have the list. I can tell you everybody who got drafted above me, and I'm trying to let it go. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying?
I can tell you the list too. My list is not as long as yours, but I can tell you the list.
You didn't have to brag about that. My list is like, hey, listen.
I'm just kidding.
I got 20 names in front of me. I know every last one of them.
Does it make it any better how loaded that draft was? Even with guys after you, like Dez. We talk about this with Des Bain when he comes on the show.
Yeah. Right.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I'm a hater.
With what? Disagree with what?
I've said this. 2020 draft. All the teams get a pass.
What you mean?
They get a pass.
Why they get a pass?
Because they're doing meetings over Zoom. They didn't get to watch the tournament. They didn't get to do a lot of in-person workouts. Like, y'all's draft class is fucked, man.
I'm not giving nobody a pass.
No, I'm just saying, like.
But no, I get what you're saying. No,
we did a redraft last season, last season, and like it's early. I got a top 5. I got an easy top 5.
Right.
There's another 5 guys. I said, hey, in 5 years, they could be in the top 5 of that class. But like the top 5 is Melo, Ant, you, Tyrese, and Desmond. And there's not really a debate there.
Right. But, I agree.
And 3 of you guys were drafted outside the top 10. By the way, I just thought of this. We need to remind me to follow up with Jason on this. We need to do a podcast series where we pick specific drafts and we talk to the GMs of certain teams and we just ask them, what the fuck were y'all thinking?
I just want to know. I'm not even
just asking questions.
I just want to know. I wish like I could just ask, like, so what right here, why did you do this? Or why'd you go this way? What did I do wrong that I couldn't get picked right here? Like, what's going on? It was Dallas had the 18th pick. And I'm like, oh, I'm from Dallas. I'm going to Dallas. I said, oh my God, I'm going to Dallas. Like, I didn't know when I was going to go. I'm sitting there like, and I had my friends there, and my mom has all these people there. She got everybody checked for COVID. Like, it's like a big deal. And I'm like sitting upstairs. I'm like, oh my God. I'm sweating at this point. I'm like, man, take this suit off of me.
All right, let's go through this real quick. I'm just going through this. I'm just saying I'm going through this. Denver, career average 22.5. Memphis, career average 21. Miami, Milwaukee, Minnesota, all around 19. Sacramento, 19.5. Toronto, just a shade under 21. Did I name one of the teams?
No, and the reason why my average is not as high against this team is because it seems like every single time we played against the team, rookie year, second year, everybody decides they want to play this game. Oh, Joel, Joel is back to back. You playing? Oh, of course. James is playing. Okay, my rookie year, Ben's playing. Okay, everybody wants to play when we play this team. When we play this, but it's cool, man. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm letting it go.
I'll get it off air from you.
I'm letting it go. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I'm not even gonna. It's not gonna bother me this year. I think it's not gonna bother me.
Question for you. This is a basketball question, and it obviously. I've watched you play a million times, but had this thought on Sunday when I was calling the game, especially in that first half. You're getting a bunch of high pick and rolls. Your screener at times was like all the way up to 30 feet. And when I played, I didn't have the burst. I didn't have the speed. I didn't have the athleticism. So, my decision making in a pick and roll or a dribble handoff was very simple. It was, is the big up? If he is, I'm throwing a pocket pass. If I go up to shoot and the big comes up, I'm dumping it down to the big. If the big is back, I'm going to try to shoot. And obviously, that's why everything was designed for me to go right, because I could, defenders on my left side, I can get my shot off. So not a lot of decision making. With you, particularly in space, you were talking about when the big is up and making the read with the pocket pass, dump down pass, skip pass, all that stuff. But when the big is back, you have options. And I'm watching you the other night, and it's like, this time it's a pull-up three. This time it's a pull-up midi. This time, even though the big's way back, you're getting ahead of steam, and you're trying to get by him and scoring at the basket. What's your read on that stuff? Like, how are you making that decision in real time about, this is a pull-up, this is a midi pull-up, this is a basket attack?
So for me, it's like we talked about rhythm, right? So I just remember, because I watched the film, from that game on Sunday, I got a steal early, and I got a fast break opportunity. And I was able to get a layup and a free throw. And as a shooter, you get a layup and you get a free throw, oh, now you're good. Like, before you take
the pressure's off.
Oh, it's
the pressure's
over.
Off.
It's like I feel great now. So then I was able to, I had a situation, I had a pick and roll, the big was back, I came off left, and I shot a three, and I missed it long. So, okay, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I got my free throw, I got a layup, and I shot a three already, I'm good. Like, I knew from there that I felt good rhythm. So now I'm coming off, and for me, it's all about the angles that I have, like, when I set the screen. So, like, I don't know who was guarding me, but I kind of drug him off the line of the slot, kind of got to the middle. So now I'm like, okay, I know the big is all the way back. I know Paul Reed, he's sprinting every single screen. He's running to get up. So he's running, he hits, and I know if I get my man to go over, okay, it's over. I can get right into the little Dame. I've been working so much and watching Dame, how he pounds right into the three. Boom, pounds.
The quick dribble three pull up.
Right into the three. Yeah. And I've been trying to work on it from like all the way like range, not maybe Dame range, but back from the 3-point line, just because I really have to. I want to drag the big out. He has to come out the paint to guard me. So now, boom. I get to the 3-point line. Oh, he's right there. I think I'm pretty fast. I'm going by you. You know what I'm saying? So to your point, when the big is back, if I can see his legs turn, if that makes sense. So I can see his leg. I can see his legs turn. Okay, I'm gone. Even though if he's back there,
then you're shifty enough, and you can attack angles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've been small all my life technically. I mean, I'm not a big guard, but I've been small to where I know how to like put my body in situations to where like, okay, I'm getting into his body. This 7-foot guy can't reach over. Like he can't, his body, like the way I'm into his chest, he can't reach and block my shot. Like I don't get my shot blocked often like as a small guard because I'm always going into somebody's chest, and then I'm able to like do like weird stuff like, because I used to watch Kyrie growing up. He used to do that little drill. So like because I like Kyrie and I like D-Wade, I was trying to be like Kyrie. I was just hitting anything. And my friends was like, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, I'm trying to be like Kyrie. So it's like, so now when I get in there, I'm able to like contort my body into weird positions, and I've worked on different angles on the glass. If I can just get to the body, spin it off the glass, I know like I have a chance of it going in and being the and one. So I just try to take those little things, like it's really small and it's really quick. So it's like, okay, I'm right here on three. Oh, his feet just changed. Okay, I'm attacking his feet. Oh, his feet are squared. Okay, I'm shooting this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's little things like that. And then now, because I've been working so much on making like the reads off of it, like we talked about, look, if that big is up, then I'm trying to get him outside that line just a little bit for Joel or whoever it is, so now I can drop that pocket. And like for me, I'm going in and out. He still has to go with me. Boom, dropping it. Like it's like I tried to embed it into my brain over the summer. Like I had so many different guys help me, so many different bigs, so many different trainers. Like, look, I need you to give me a look, a real legit, like you can do whatever you want. You can tap, I don't care what you do, but I have to read, I have to make the right pass because I know Joel Embiid and I know if James doesn't play and I get put in this situation, Joel is going to cuss me out if I don't give him the ball right. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the relationship that we have. He knows that I'm going to work tirelessly, like and effortlessly to do it because I really want to help him and I want to help us as an organization win games. So
you know what? People talk about like vertical lob threats all the time and like the necessity of that to put pressure on the back line of the defense. And I think that's important, of course, but for bigs that can not only score but make plays out of the short roll, I think that's even more valuable. And I was just, as you're talking, I'm thinking about Joel specifically because there are times where the big and the guard do a great job of drop coverage. The big is not far enough back where you have a clean, midi pull-up or a pull-up three. The guard does a good job chasing over the top. And before you know it, you're too deep. And as a smaller guard, right, you're too deep. We're not Tatum. We can't just
see over.
Yeah. And what Joel does and what I think a lot of really good bigs that are good short rollers, he just gives you an angle. He gives you an angle. And so when you dump it off to him, there's a play to be made. Either he's scoring, like Jokic is awesome with this. Either he's scoring or then he's got the pass. Or like you're so deep, you can't make that skip past the corner.
Right.
But the little pocket pass on the short roll, that draws that corner man in, and then he can make the pass.
Do it if he feels like.
Yeah.
But no, Joe.
Let's be clear. Joel is not a vertical lob threat.
Oh no.
That's not him.
You know what's funny? It was a game last year. I get downhill and he's actually like rolling hard, and I throw it up. He goes all the way up to catch it, just to bring it back down. He said, good pass. I said, why you don't want to just catch it, dunk it? But like with Joe though, it's funny because like he makes me not mad, but because he's gonna make it anyway. But I get it. I give him a great pocket pass. He catches it. He stands there.
Goes into his jab game.
And then he goes, hezzy pull. I'm like, bruh. And then I'll get this. I'm messing with him about that. But nah, he's great though. I think he's really, you know what? And he's as great as he is, like for himself scoring, he's really trying to like bought into like, okay, if I screen really good, then that'll help my teammates and myself. And if I get to like certain pockets to where I can get, James, they was great at it. Y'all saw it, the 2-man game that they developed. It was unstoppable at times. So it's like, kudos to Joel because he's really worked on that, part of the game when he could really just say, hey, look, just give me the ball every time because he's that good. You know what I mean? So he's helped me a lot.
Do you think I had Joel? Because he missed his first 2 years and only partial the third year. I had him his fourth and his fifth year. I think he was still young in his career.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we mentioned his wedding this summer. He's married.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur, his son is getting older. Like in my conversations with Joe, he's grown up a lot. And I'm wondering as a leader, like how that has manifested. Like, have you seen growth from him as a leader in the 4 years you've been with him?
I've seen lots of growth. My first year there, he didn't talk at all. Kobe year, he didn't say.
Well, he was mad that year.
I know,
he was mad,
but he didn't talk. But he didn't talk at all. So like I sat it like across from him. I'll never forget this. Like we had the little Secret Santa or whatever you do for Christmas, and you know how you have to give somebody a gift, and the rookies they get their gift, and the vets can take their gift. So I got a PS5 that Joel had. He put up there, and one of the vets took my gift. And he was like, "No, give it back. Give it back time for Tyrese." So then the next day he comes to the plane, and Bub has a PS5, and he gave it to me. I still have that PS5. Shout out to Joel. Well, actually, I don't because my house burned down, but that's another story. But shout out to Joel for that. But he didn't talk. He just didn't talk. He never said a word. And I didn't know why. Like, I wasn't there, so I didn't know why, what was going on. But after that season, like my second year, he started talking to everybody. Like, and that's like rookies included. You know what I'm saying? And this is the MVP we're talking about here, like, or candidate back then. He's talking to rookies. He's talking to me, helping me be better. Like when he could really just be worried about himself, worried about winning games. But he's really trying to make sure, like, I remember we had Isaiah Joe back in the day. He was like big. He was on Isaiah Joe all the time about like, hey, Isaiah Joe, when you get in the game, shoot the ball. When I pass you the ball, shoot the ball. Like you're in to shoot the ball. Like Charlie Brown, we had a guy named Charlie Brown. Charlie, cut. I'm finding you on layup. Like he's been much more vocal now, and especially now with our new coach, he's bought in. You know what I'm saying? To have your best player bought in to like doing different things. Like Nick Nurse is big on like egos and all that stuff. And Joel is bought in, and he's very competitive when he does all these things, like, because you know how Joel is competitive and everything. So it's like, man, it's great, man. His leadership now, he leads by example, and he's talking a lot more, and he's like a lot more positive. Man, it's crazy. Like I'm thinking on the outside looking in, I see Joel as the cheeseburger. Before I got there, the cheeseburger on the training table. Like, that's all I knew about Joe. But like, when I got there, I'm like, oh man, this dude he's amazing. He's a good dude. Yeah. He works hard. I'm proud of him.
No, when Joel has an incredible personality, and when he's engaged, he's just like he's a special dude. Real quick, it's my second year. I don't know why I just thought it's my second year with the Philly. We did Secret Santa with Brett.
Secret Santa, that's what.
Yeah, we did Secret Santa with Brett, and it was like up in the room off the dining room. Where all the TVs, pool table, all that stuff. So like the whole organization's in there. We're all exchanging gifts or whatever. And so I think I had to you presented your gift and then somebody could take your gift. And so I presented my gift very early. And I had bought an IWC watch, which was about $8,000. Okay. And it was like the second or third gift on like the table, and I'm watching like 12 guys when they get to choose which gift they want are picking like Nintendo Switches, remote control cars, fucking Gucci wallets. I'm like, guys, are you serious? Just go you can go sell it and get the money. What are you doing?
They ain't want that watch. They trying to get on that game.
Who ended up with it?
Mike Muscala still has the watch to this day. Sent me a picture this summer. He's rocking
Shout
the
out to
watch.
Mike.
Yeah,
he's the reason I got the Sixers had the 21 pick, and from the bubble. That's why I got drafted by the Sixers because of Mike.
I thought you had an interesting thing on your pod when Darius came on. We were talking about the playoffs. And it was before they had gotten in, and you were telling him about like the things you learned. Basically, the words you used were like, it was like mano y mano. It's like you get in there, and it's like everyone knows each other really well, and so you really just have to sort of lock in because no one's going to be surprised. Have you learned anything more after this particular playoff experience?
Yeah, I think for me, this is my first like playoffs where like I feel like teams like keyed, like they really, because it's certain guys that you really, really, really key into, and then there's certain guys that you have the film on them, but you're like, okay, they're you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're okay with this guy, having 15.
Exactly.
We're trying to limit this. We're trying to limit the age.
Exactly. Like I think my second year when I was starting, Toronto, I was one of those guys for Toronto. It was like, you know what? If Tyrese kills us, he kills us. And I had like 40, like, you know what I'm saying? 20, and they're like, oh, hey, okay. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this year I felt like coming in from day one, like I was like one of those guys that they had, like, you know what I'm saying? So like the Boston series, the entire year, like they had, I guess you could say they had my number because I was frustrated. Like they were trying to force me left every single play, left. And then when the series came, the first game we played, it was without Joe, but I played pretty well. The second game. Then the third and fourth game, they adjusted to something new. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm like, oh shoot, now I gotta refigure it out. And then once I figured that out, 5, 6, and 7, I was pretty good. So it's like for me, I wanted to be so prepared. Like this summer, I was working on so many different things, like that Boston showed me, or that the Nets showed me. Like all throughout, I was looking at film through all like the entire year of how many different coverages I've seen. I want to be so like prepared at like when I get to that point in the playoffs, so I'm not surprised by anything because they did. What they showed me was okay. That's new. I haven't seen that before. They were coming off and they had Robert Williams low side. Al Horford was like, he was drop coveraging, but he was really just guarding Joe. So now I'm like, okay, wait, is the pocket pass open or is my floater, like, that's different. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen that before. So that's one thing I really learned about the playoffs. Like you have to be locked in or they're going to
You have to be prepared to counter the counter for your whatever your A1 is.
Yes.
And then when they take away your A2, you got to be ready for the A3. But the hard part is like, and you know this from playing in games, you know, a 7-game series is like, you can't really afford to like not have it one game.
No, you can't. It's impossible. Like, you know, it's funny because it hurts to even talk about this again, but like we were up 3-2 and we're winning. We're winning in the fourth quarter, 4 minutes to go. And it's like we had like maybe two defensive mistakes in the playoffs, and that cost us the series. Like Jason, I remember and one of them was mine. I gamble, so like I think I'm about to get a steal. I gamble, boom, they swing to Jason. Now Joel has to close down Jason Tatum. Tatum hasn't hit a shot in like 2 games. You know what I'm saying? But he has Joel on him. Joel's like, you know, he gotta give a little space because he's a big. He laces one up, he hits a 3. After that, series is basically over. Jason Tatum didn't miss another shot. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was your gamble that cost Doc Rivers his job. Listen, that is not true. That's so far from the truth. It's nowhere even close to the truth. That one, listen.
I may or may not edit that out. I haven't decided yet.
That's so far from the truth. Hey, look. Hey, Coach Doc, I love you. I didn't do that on purpose. But I'm serious, though. Like, those little possessions, it's like I know you heard Doc say this, single possession games. The playoffs are broken down into single possession games. So,
bro, I'm telling you right now, I've been retired. This will be my 3rd season out, but I retired 2 years ago. I never won a championship. Came close a couple times. I still think about like 5 plays. Think about that. Think about how many I played over, like, I don't know the exact number. Call it 1,000 regular season games.
Right.
I played over 100 playoff games. All those plays. And it's the same like 4 or 5 plays that always pop up in my brain. That's the what if in my life.
And for me, I've only played in 3 years, and I lost a game 7 my rookie year, and I lost a game 6, you know, my second year, and then this year I lost again. Like we lost in game 7. So it's like you said, I can tell you like play for play what happened in like certain situations, those games, and it hurts. It hurts. Man, like you're so close. I feel like we were so close to advancing, you know, especially last year. That and hopefully that we can be able to put fuel to the fire and build on it this year, though.
All right, Tyrese, before we let you go, you touched on Nick a little bit earlier, but just the overall impressions, what gets you excited about playing for Nick and the team in general, just kind of, again, going back to the vibes that we talked about at the beginning, but sort of what it is specifically about Nick that has you looking forward to this season?
I think team-wise, Coach Nurse has, one, he's been a breath of fresh air. You know, he's new. He's bringing in new systems. He's bringing in new terminologies. And then, like, he has this aura about him. Like, he's so positive. And he's like...
Nick Nurse is positive.
Yes, Nick Nurse is positive. He's been positive as of late. You know,
I've never played for Nick.
We lose a couple games back to back. He may get a little unpositive. But, like, he has, like, this... how do I explain it? First of all, his night shooting and the work ethic that he brings, that he really wants guys to work on their game. He believes in the guys that he has in the organization already. And he really installs more confidence in you. With Paul Reed, I give you Paul Reed, for example. P. Reed's been working on his 3-point shot. And, you know, that could be another added element to his game. Nick Nurse has really pushed him to work on it, be in the gym, work on it. And like when we have like open gym and stuff like that, P. Reed, shoot threes. P. Reed, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, work on your game. Like, he's not telling him to go out there and shoot heavy pull-up threes, but if you're open, shoot it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been positive about it. So like Paul Reed feels good about himself. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. And it's like, it's so many different things that he's bringing to the table that's positive, I feel like. And he's like, guys are really buying into what he likes. And he makes practice competitive. He makes practice fun for guys. People get rewards for doing certain things. Like Jaden Springer, he's been slot cutting. Slot cut is behind. He slot cuts like every single play. And like he got a award for that the other day, like a little slot, like a cool, like a little fun, Rocky moment. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the things that I feel like builds like team camaraderie. And like now you have if your team wants to really go out there and like play for a coach who has your back. You know what I'm saying? Now, okay, he has my back. So I'm gonna go out there and try everything that he has installed in us as a unit. I'm gonna try to go bring it to play like when we have to go play against whoever we play against. So it's been great.
But Mike McDaniel recently gave an interview on Molly Fletcher's The Game Changers podcast. I'd highly recommend it to anyone who listens to podcasts. Mike McDaniel, the head coach of the Dolphins.
You gonna shut out my podcast like that?
I shouted your podcast out at the beginning, bro.
I'm just joking.
Anyways, I don't listen to podcasts, but my friend sent me this, and he said you would really appreciate this. So I listened to the whole hour and 15-minute interview. Mike McDaniel had a thing in there about he's like, I really consider myself to be in the service industry because my job is actually to service players. And he's like, I think the job of a professional sports coach is to be incredibly sensitive to the gravity of each individual player's career and the short window they have to maximize their talent and earn as much money as possible. And he's like, that's my job, to help them maximize their career and earn as much money as possible. And when Nick Nurse came on the podcast, it's one of the things he said. He's like, I tell my players that, like, I want to help you be the best so you can make as much money as possible. I mean, I don't know if like that's just words, but emotionally for me, I'm like, I think that speaks to 99% of players.
He's made me feel more, confident already. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants me to be aggressive. He wants me to shoot threes. He wants me to try to find ways to get in the paint and create for others. And it's like, he knows it's like, man, sometimes you're going to make mistakes. I understand that, but I still need you to be aggressive. I still need you to go out there and be Tyrese Maxey. And when a coach tells you that, like if a coach tells you, look, JJ, when you come off this down screen, I want you to shoot almost every time. You just feel more confident. You know you're not going to shoot every time, but like when you're coming off, you're like, oh, I'm ready to shoot this. Like I know that my coach believes in me. Like this shot's going to go in. Now he's believing in you. You believe in yourself because you put in all this work. It just makes the game a lot easier and it takes the pressure off of it because, like you said, we're in a high pressure environment, especially on the playoff team, especially on the contending team. It's hard. It gets really hard. You miss a couple shots and you feel it. Like you feel the weight of the world coming down on you, especially when your team needs you to make those shots. It hurts, and it's like, but when you have somebody like Coach Nurse, you have guys on your team and your organization who will build you up. They have your back, so you go out there, you try to perform for them.
Okay, Tyrese, last question, the Roback question. Reminder to our viewers that you can use the code OLD on roback.com for 20% off your first purchase. That's RHOBACK.com, code OLD. We didn't touch a whole lot on your time at Kentucky outside of you missing class. But Coach Cal, curious about him. The Roback question is, if you had one word to describe Coach Calipari, what would that word be?
I'm not going to use insane. I'm going to use...
Well, you just did.
Passionate. I'm going to use passionate. He's passionate about his recruiting. He's passionate about winning. And he's passionate about his kids getting to the next level and fulfilling their dreams. And not a lot of coaches are passionate about that. Like when you have a guy who wants to win for sure, first and foremost, but he cares about, you fulfilling that dream of you making it to the NBA. And that means a lot as an 18, 17-year-old, 18, 19-year-old kid coming in because, you don't know what those families' backgrounds are. So like we have a coach that's behind you and really wants you to be successful. You appreciate that.
At this point, does he walk in your living room on a home visit and just basically just give you a roster of Kentucky guards that have been good in the NBA and been like, hey, come to Kentucky?
Sad part about that is he didn't even have to do that for me. I had on my list before he came to my house, get an offer from Kentucky on my goals. I write my goals down for every day of the first practice, whatever, and they're always on my wall and they see it. And I said, that was my goal. Get off from. I wanted to go there since I wanted to play for Coach Cal since Derrick Rose was there. Like after I seen that, that's when I wanted to play for Coach Cal. He was like, he loved Derrick Rose. He kind of let Derrick Rose go. Derrick Rose loved him. I saw that relationship down. Seen John Wall, Braden. I seen those guys. De'Aaron Fox, who was from Texas. I wanted to be kind of like that. So he didn't even have to show me the list. I knew what the list was. He could have asked me, what are the last 5 years of the guards rotation? I could have named every single guard. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to play for him so bad, and I really do appreciate everything he's done for me.
All right. Well, you guys know I'm a huge fan of this brand, and Tyrese will give you some gear too. Tyrese, this has been very enjoyable despite a few technical issues, but it's been great, man. Always rooting for you, bud.
No, I appreciate you coming on. Next time I see you, commentating the game, I'll definitely
make sure you do.
Just a quick one.
I'm gonna run out, and I'm not gonna go touch the ball. I'm going right to JJ. I don't care if he's talking. I'm like, look, hey, hold on.
Bro.
Whatever he's talking about doesn't matter. I need to say
Just be first.
Pat Beverly the other day, I'm live on camera, standing up there, and he's to my left and is like not moving. And I know he's trying to get my attention. I'm in the middle of talking about the Drew Holiday trade and why Drew Holiday and Derek White may be the best defensive backcourt in the league. And I say that out loud, and then I'm like, fuck, Pat's right here.
Oh, you're done.
I'm
you're done.
All of a sudden he starts chirping in my ear.
Pat Bev, he's won a couple games in training camp. Oh, my God. He loses his mind. Oh, Joel, you can't mess with me. I don't care about you being the MVP. I'm like, dang, Pat Bev, you had 2 points in that scrimmage. But he's great, though. I love him.
He's the best.